Good morning, everyone. Oh dear. I realize I am very late. Sorry about that. I'm having a very slow start this morning. A lot of revelry last night as we celebrated my birthday with the fam, and we were drinking some good whiskey. So I'm a little off this morning. I didn't think whiskey affected me so, but apparently it does. So a little bit of a headache. Drinking lots of water. Honestly, I don't know where the time goes. So I couldn't even find my stamp set. So all of a sudden it's time to do this Facebook Live, and I couldn't find my stamp set. I was like, what? How can I lose a stamp set? Especially one that is so in, so current, so popular, and that I've used a couple of times in my card making. So it was just really crazy around here trying to find it. So I have no idea if I'm actually really prepared today or not. I think we might be winging it. I know that I had pre-prepped some things and I couldn't find those either. So I may not, this may be a pretty not so great video. So just be prepared. Sorry about that, you guys. All right. Good morning. Hello, Philomena. Hello, Yvonne. Oh, it's nice to have you here. Hi, Kathy. Good morning. Yes, I had a very nice birthday week. I actually worked all day on my actual birthday. I did not take the day off, and I actually put in more hours than I normally do. But then yesterday, I pretty much ended up celebrating all day. Met one of my good girlfriends from high school, and we went out to lunch and spent a couple of hours. That's where the revelry started. And then came home, and the whole fam was, here hanging out, and we just had a really good time. Good morning, Lynn. Hi. Oh, good. You guys are sharing. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm going to give away. I think it's just going to be a surprise. So just be prepared for a surprise, whoever wins these drawings. And the drawings won't be until Tuesday. It's a long weekend, and I have lots of things to do and plan and be places. And so don't plan on seeing me until Tuesday for sure. Good morning, everybody. Oh, there's one of my winners. Hi, Julie. Julie's already shared. I think I saw on my phone just before I jumped on this Facebook Live that you provided your address. Thank you. So you will be getting one of the Meerkat cards that I made the other day. Thank you so much. Yeah, I did have a really great day yesterday. Thank you for asking about that. Hello. Yes, we're having a big snowstorm coming. I'm very excited. Hope to get snowed in because that would force me to craft the entire time, which I love crafting, and a snowstorm is the perfect excuse for that, right? So welcome. All right, so I'll probably be jumping up and down. I won't have everything prepped properly, and that's just sometimes the way it goes. All right. So let me first show you some amazing cards I got in the mail. Some really pretty birthday cards. So this one is from one of my downline members who lives in Hawaii, and her name is Gloria, and she used the Pressed Petals specialty paper from Stampin Up. Did you know there's 24 sheets in that paper pack? Yes, that's right. 24 sheets of wonderfulness. And some of the sheets actually have little photos that you can cut out and you can use them as elements on your card. And so she cut this element out, but she really did some nice enhancements to it. So I'm going to hold it up kind of close to the card. First of all, she cut out kind of a daisy bouquet. It's sort of a dried flowers looking thing that you see on the Pressed Petals specialty paper from our 2019-2020 annual catalog. So it looks like this, and she put a big bow on it. But what was really interesting about the card that adds a lot of texture is she added the fine tip glue pen, which actually, if you don't mess with it, it will dry raised, and it gives a really hard, shiny finish. But before it actually dried, she put some glitter on it. So I'm pretty sure this is not going to show up in the camera, but all of these blossoms have a raised texture to them, and they all have glitter on, so they're really quite fun. It's really kind of a nice card that the video just does not show as well as it is in person when I'm holding it. So thank you so much, Gloria. That was very sweet of you. I really appreciate it. Then the next card that I'm going to share with you is from a downline member from Ohio. Her name is Bonnie Kramer, and she sent me the nicest note. First, I'll show you the card. So the card looks like this. She used the buried vases and did some little punch outs because there's a coordinating punch with that, and then she did some fussy cutting, and it looks like she used the layering circles, and then she also used a die, I believe, to put kind of a shelf here. It's just a lovely, lovely card, and I have hardly ever used the soft seafoam cardstock. And look at this card, how gorgeous is that with the soft seafoam. And there's so many little special touches on this card. Even this white circle that's out here, it uses that hammered metal embossing folder that we had in our holiday catalog. That's still available to purchase through, for sure, through the end of the spring catalog. And so it's just really, really pretty with so many details. But even more so than the card was this note. So I hope she's okay with me reading this, because I just want to share with you how much Stampin' Up! Changes lives. And so she says, "Happy birthday. I want to thank you for reawakening my love of card making. I just can't get enough now. It was about a year ago I happened across one of your live chats on Facebook. Then I went online to look at the latest catalog from Stampin' Up! And now I am completely obsessed. This past Christmas, I made over 70 cards. I certainly didn't need that many, but I just couldn't help myself. I took the cards I didn't need to my local nursing home, and I asked the coordinator there to give them to people who don't get visitors." And then she went on to say she knows from experience when her husband and mom were in places like that, there were unfortunately many people, especially seniors, who were dropped off at nursing homes and then rarely visited again. So I was more than happy to hopefully make somebody have a little smile in their life with a handmade card. I'm sure I'll do that again next year, because I'm absolutely positive that Stampin' Up! Will have another exciting Christmas catalog in 2020 full of things I can't live without. What a beautiful note. I mean, this is just like happy mail in the most happiest way possible. So a special thank you to my downline member Bonnie for this beautiful note that she sent to me. It's just lovely, and I had to share it with you because our card making really, really makes an impact. And so it's just so fun to see that. And I'm so glad she joined my team. She is a wonderful, wonderful crafter and such an asset to our group. All right, so the next card I'm going to share with you is another team member. This one is from Hayward, Wisconsin, and I met her many years ago, and she has been a faithful customer. And then last year during celebration, she joined my group, and this is the card, and it uses the Painted Poppies stamp set, which we're actually using today. And so this is a good variation of something that we're doing today. But isn't it beautiful? But the coolest thing is you can see there's a belly band on it. So anytime there's a belly band, woohoo, that means something is being held in, and we get to open it up and see what it looks like. So thank you so much, Lynn Newton, for this really pretty card. So let me just share with you how it works. So you take the belly band off, and look at that. It opens up like this. Isn't that a cool fold? I really love it. Now, I've seen folds like that before, but it's been a while since I've actually had one in my hand. So she said she was looking for some alternative paper pumpkin cards and came across this fold, and so she had to make a card with it right away. Well, of course you have to. Thank you so much, Lynn Newton. I love it. It's very beautiful. All right, the next card I got was from a customer, and she just wished me an amazing birthday, and I just want to hold this up so you can see the amazing layers that are on this card. This is from Elaine Wheeler. She is the most wonderful sender of beautiful homemade cards, and I often have many of her cards on display in my office because she is a prolific creator. So it's so nice to have her as a customer, and I truly appreciate her, and I really, really, really love all of the layers on this card, and I'm sure you guys do too. You can appreciate how much time and fussy cutting went into that. And then I think my favorite feature of all on this card is that doily. It's a cut doily, one of our shimmery white doilies cut in half, and it just makes such a nice backdrop for that beautiful layering of fussy cut flowers. All right, next card is from another downline member from Hayward, Wisconsin. We have a cabin up in that area, so I have met a few people through the years, and then of course somebody tells somebody else, and somebody tells somebody else, and pretty soon you have customers and team members from a whole new area. So thank you so much, Dawn Chase, for this beautiful card. It is made with the Dandelion Wishes stamp set and the bouquet dots. So I'm going to hold this up so you can see it. And for those of you that are fairly new to stamping, that maybe haven't stamped a lot, what I love about this card is that the back panel, which is black, is just a little bit wider. She cut the front card part out a little bit smaller than that black cardstock on the back. And so what's really nice about this is that it saves on paper. I mean, overall, the white cardstock is probably a little bit better deal than the colored cardstock. So if you're running low of colored cardstock, or you're buying the variety packs and you want to make it go a little bit further, you can just back your card front. So love that idea. Thank you so much for the beautiful card, Dawn. You are so sweet. Then I have another card, Sue McNeil. She is a demonstrator in the Twin Cities area, and she is often sending me cards. I'm sure you've seen them through the years. And I love this card. She used I have to look and see what the name of it is, Pocket Full of Happiness. I don't have this stamp set, but I love seeing cards that are made with it. And then she used the pocket dies that coordinate with it to cut it out. So this is what the card looks like, and she's colored it beautifully with our Stampin' Blends. And of course, if you didn't have Stampin' Blends, you could use markers or watercolor pencils. I think we sometimes forget about those tools as well. But it's a beautiful card. She wished me a very happy birthday, and I'm very happy that she did that. Thank you so much, Sue McNeil. And then I have another card. This is from a customer all the way down in Georgia, and I know she's watching today. Hello, Lynn. And she is also a wonderful friend of mine. We started our relationship in 2013, and I even got to meet her in person this past fall. So that was really fun when I went down to Georgia. And so it says Celebrate Your Day. It's just a beautiful birthday card. And what I love about it is she did some layering with the nested labels dies. I think we sometimes forget that we don't just have to cut out sentiments with our dies. We can actually cut additional die pieces and layer them up together. And this is also a very classic design. If you're fairly new to Stampin' Up or fairly new to card making and you're just not sure where to start, dividing your card in half and adding some layers and a sentiment and then like a ribbon, I don't know if I'm getting the right spot here, it's just a classic way of putting a card together, and it looks good every time. So you really can't mess up. So thank you so much, Lynn, for the beautiful card. I really love it. And another card. Oh, and another downline member from the Hayward, Wisconsin area. We have quite a crew up in that neck of the woods. And so this card, oh, it really took my breath away. And it uses something I hardly ever use in my stamp room, and that is the seasonal, let me just check the name of it because as I mentioned, I hardly ever use it. It's called the Seasonal Layers Dies. So in the Seasonal Layers die set, and you could just get this all by itself and make beautiful cards with this set of dies. But look at the card she made for me. Isn't it gorgeous? She used the Seasonal Layers dies. I'm going to get that all down. And then she did a lovely bit of sponging here. She created a frame with our stitched rectangular dies. want to make sure I get this right because you guys are probably all taking pictures of this wanting to keep this idea. She did a little sponging off on the corner, and then she sponged the centers of her flowers. She added some pearls, and it's really a beautiful card. So thank you, Charmaine Metzinger. You are a brand new downline member in my group, and you are really very creative, and it's very fun to have you here and very fun to get your cards. So thank you so much. Such a beautiful birthday card. And finally, the last birthday card I want to share with you. I know you're going to want to know how to do this. I have no idea. I don't do too fancy of cards, as you've probably noticed. It's just not my niche. But I have downline members, incredibly talented and can do amazing things. I don't even know what kind of a fold this is, but it's pretty cool. So if anybody watching this knows the kind of fold it's called, if you could share that, then people could maybe Google YouTube to find out how to do it. But I personally don't know how to do it. I could probably copy it, but it's a little involved and I don't have time to make involved cards, but it is beautiful. So this is a card from a downline member who lives in Spicer, Minnesota. Her name is Cindy Berghus. She has a wonderful customer base, and she's been a wonderful team member for the last couple of years, very sharing and caring. And she used the Peaceful Moments stamp set for the Happy Birthday Sentiment. She used the Stitched So Sweetly dies for maybe I think for one of the dies that's cut out. I don't know for sure where the other die is from. Maybe the Painted Poppies bundle. There's a set of dies in there that might be from. I just don't know for sure. Then she also used the Lily Impressions Designer Series paper. So are you ready? Are you ready to see this amazing card? So even though it's an incredibly fancy card, it can be mailed. So it looks like this when you pull it out of the envelope. Very, very flat. See? And I knew something is up because on the back, the sentiment was on the back of the card. So I thought, oh, this is different. So, or as we say in Minnesota, oh, that's interesting. Honestly, I didn't even know what to do with it. So then when I got it out of the envelope, I figured it out fairly quickly. I mean, you guys would all figure this out a lot faster. But you push the bottom up and look at that. It's a little easel stand card. So there's the side view because I want you to see that. And then when you turn it to the front, it's actually a card that stands up on your table or your countertop or wherever you're displaying it. So quite the nice card. Thank you so much, Cindy. It's really nice to have people in my downline group that are way more talented than I am, and Cindy is definitely one of those individuals. So thank you. I love it. It's pretty amazing. All right, so the card we're going to make today, oh, you know what? Since I have gotten so many birthday cards, I need to share with you something. I should have kept a few envelopes, but I didn't want to incriminate anybody who had sent me cards. If you happen to have pearls and diamonds on your cards, and you do not put a layer over the top of them when you send them in the mail, they actually will bust through the envelope. I know some of you know this, but maybe not everybody does, especially if you're new. So one thing you can do is just take a piece of cardstock to put over the top. But even more effective is what Charmaine did with her card. She took the very skinniest little layer of foam, and I know that you get this when you get packaging from, like, you know, you buy something and they have it all wrapped up in this really thin foam. I mean, I've seen it when you buy appliances and things like that. Or sometimes even it's just some packing material that you get when you buy something from Amazon. But it's very, very thin foam. And so it doesn't mean you have to add an additional extra set of stamps to your card if your card is fairly flat to begin with. So what Charmaine did, she had all these pearls on here, and she's a good packager. She knew that if she left those pearls right on the front of the envelope or the back of the envelope, depending on which way she laid the card, she knew they would pop through. And when that happens, sometimes you get a lot of distressing on your pearls and your little diamonds that are on your cards. So she took a very thin layer of this foam and put on her card, and then put it in the envelope and mailed it. And I just want to say that worked impeccably. That card came through the mail so perfect. There was no breakthrough on the envelope. And when I took it out of the card, everything was still just beautiful, just like the way you want your cards to arrive. So if you don't know that little tip, I encourage you to just, you know, if you have a few extra cards in your stash, just mail one to yourself and see how it arrives. And that's how it will arrive to your friends and family when you mail it to them. And just kind of make sure that the way you're packaging your cards as they go through the mail is the way you want it to arrive when they do arrive at their destination. All right, so let me flip the camera down. We'll get started. Like I said, this is going to be probably an up and down by me as I'm looking for things video, because I had a lot of trouble getting this together this morning. My headache has gone away a little bit. I did take an aspirin and it kind of kicked in, so I'm not feeling too bad right now. Of course, being with all of you totally lightens and brightens my day and makes me feel so much better. So thank you for being here. You guys are the greatest. All right, let me just make sure I have this all set up so it looks the way we want it to. Okay, for those of you that are just joining us, I am Kate Kaltoff. I have a blog that I've had since 2007 called Stamping to Share, so you're welcome to go visit that. Please send me hearts, send me little thumbs up, whether you are on YouTube watching this a few days later or whether you are on my Facebook Live in the live mode or catching it later. I really appreciate it. It makes me feel, well, it makes me feel appreciated. Oh, look at all the hearts coming up. You guys are the best. I appreciate it because sometimes I just wonder, is anybody watching? Does anybody care? So yes, thank you for doing that. So these are the stamp sets we're using today to create this beautiful card. I can already see I don't have all of my supplies are not here. Well, we are not going to make a full card oh, I do have them. Never mind. I was thinking I didn't have my sequins, but I do have my sequins. I consider sequins an optional embellishment because I fight with them a little bit. But I did put them on this card and I think they look pretty stellar. So I'm going to attempt to do that today. So we'll see how it goes. I do have some tips for doing it. But they don't always work. So if you have better tips for me, please let me know. So this is what the card looks like on the front. This is what the card looks like on the inside. As you know, I love to decorate the inside of my cards, and I think it's a very beautiful card. And I love, one of the things that I love about this card is I cut out not another layer to layer up the circle on, but I actually cut out a layer from the designer series paper, and then I used that small little cutout to accent the inside of my card. So if you haven't thought to do that, this is kind of a nice thing to do with your little extra pieces. All right, so let's go ahead and I will share with you how this all, well, maybe I'll show you the book first. The Painted Poppies and that whole poppy suite is all over. So let me just grab that out for you so you can see it. It starts on page 24. Looks like this. And you know, if you get this, please know there's so many samples in the catalog that you could probably be busy recreating these samples for the next couple weeks. They're beautiful. I don't know. I couldn't do all that in one session. How about you guys? It looks like a lot of work. I'd have to really study it to get it just right, but it is absolutely beautiful, and I love the ideas that Stampin' Up shares with us. Of course, I usually end up making them a little simpler than what Stampin' Up does, but sometimes, as this card is today, I come up with my own ideas. I love this little swag that they have on this page, and then over here, some more ideas. And there's a couple of sets all involved with this, and it's beautiful. And for those of you attending Spring Fling this year, you will see a lot of poppies at Spring Fling because that's going to be kind of our theme. So we're going to start with a couple of pieces of old olive paper. I've cut it in half. It's 5.5 by 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Of course, I love to use a bone folder. Just make those cards sit down a little better so they behave themselves when I'm working with them. I guess I need to behave myself too a little bit. I'm throwing things all over the place. Then the next thing that I have is, I'm going to see if I've got it handy. We have the Peaceful Poppies Designer Series paper. So you could make this exact card with any of these gorgeous layers. I mean, there's poppies on every page, so you're not going to go wrong with beautiful poppies, and all of them could be used to make this card. So you could make a lot of cards with one of those sheets. Then I want to show you how I cut this out. So I did use my Big Shot machine, which Stampin' Up! No longer carries. However, I know a lot of you have die cutting machines, so they kind of look like a Big Shot if you want to Google that to see what it looks like. And then I have the, what is this again? This is our Layering Circles scalloped edge die, and I used the very largest one that comes in this set. Yep, it's the very largest one. So it looks like this. And then I did set it down with tape, more or less just to show you how this all looks. Then I cut it out, and I have this at, I should show you the measurement. I just cut my Designer Series paper in half and then cut it into 2-inch strips. So this is a 2 by 6-inch strip. And the reason I want that little bit of room to wiggle is depending on where my black layer is going, I may need to move this up and down to make sure that it looks right on the card. So that's why I gave myself a little wiggle room and why I cut it at 6 inches tall. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these black panels, and I'm not probably going to fully make both cards, but I will try to fully make one card so you can see how this all goes together. I did pre-color some of these, and I can't find them. So I don't know if you want to sit and watch me color, but maybe I'll just do a few so you get the idea. So the black panels, basic black paper, 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And I'm just going to take some multi-purpose liquid glue. And there's no wrap on these, so I can just glue them straight down. Of course, I now cannot get my glue to work. And I can't find a poker tool. We'll see. Maybe this will work. Nope. Oh dear. I told you guys I was very unprepared today, so let me see. Well, shoot. I'm going to use snail. I have that nice and handy. I will tell you why I like to use glue. I like to use glue because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. With snail, once you use snail, you got to be pretty certain that's where you're going to put it because you don't get to wiggle it around and put it just where you want it. So I'm going to go for maybe a tad more than a 1/2 inch down from the top, or maybe about a 1/2 inch. And I'm just setting this on here. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing to this other card. And again, we're just setting it on here. Trying to get it straight since there is no wiggle room. And that looks pretty good. All right, then this one has a little bit of an edge showing, which I don't care for. I'm sure you probably can't even see it, but there's a green edge showing. I must have not cut it quite the way I wanted to. So for those of you thinking about joining Stampin' Up, which I highly encourage as a discount demonstrator, if nothing else, get your products at cost. You get a free mini cutter as part of your starter kit. So I'm just going to put that in there and just squeeze that out just a little tiny bit. And look at that. It just cut my edge perfectly. And I have the littlest, tiniest, skinniest little layer here to throw away because that's all I needed. Oh, I didn't cut it quite far enough. I'll do it again. There we go. Now we got a little bit of the black edge too. So now I know it is cut perfectly edged. Perfectly edged. Look at how skinny that is. Oh my goodness, what a treat. What a little treasure that cutter is. I love it. All right, then you're going to take this piece of designer series paper that's been cut, and what you're going to do now, I'm going to set this other one away. I think I'm only going to make one card today. I'll still give away 2 cards, but I'm not prepared enough to make more than one. All right, so what we're going to do, and again, I wish I had glue to do this, but I don't because my glue's not prepared. So I'm just going to use snail and go hope for the best. So what I want to do is, let me see if I can grab something that's a little whiter. Nope, I don't even have scrap paper here. This is pathetic. Hold on, here's some. I had my Stamparatus fairly close by. There, now you can see it so much better. So we're gonna set this on, and I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch or so from the left side. That looks pretty good. And as you can see, I'm trying to make sure that this is all even here on the left, and then I'm just going to press it down. Now I'm going to get my cute mini trimmer out again, and we're going to trim those edges even. Ah! Went a little too far in, but that's okay. We got it to work. Ta-da! Now we have even edges. I love that trimmer for evening up your edges on a card. Then the next thing we're going to do is a little stamping. So I've pre-cut some layering circles here, and let me just show you the size. So it is 1, 2, wait. Yes, it is the second largest straight edge circle. That's the one we're using today. So this is the largest down here, and then we're going to be using this one here to cut out these little circles that we're doing our stamping on. So I'm going to set this here. I've got my poppies right here, and I'm going to stamp those with ink that I don't have at my table. Let me see. What I want to use, oh, I've got it right here. Let me go grab it. I want to use the Tuxedo Black Memento ink because I am using poppy blends to blend, and you want to make sure that you're using a water-based ink when you use the blends, and that's what the Tuxedo Black Memento ink is. So what we're going to do is ink this all up, and then I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper here from my handy little Stamparatus pad. And then we're going to take this circle, which you will not be able to see, and I will not be able to see either. So let me grab another thing to layer over the top. There we go. So this is my silicone sheet. I love it. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to stamp this over the top like so. There it is, all our pretty flowers. And then we're going to take a sentiment from Itty Bitty Birthdays, and we're going to stamp also in black ink, Time to Celebrate. So I have that somewhere right here. Is that it? Nope, that is not it. Here it is, Time to Celebrate. So I'm going to ink that up again. And you could set this all up on your Stamparatus. When I was prepping these cards for a swap that I was doing, I did have it all on the Stamparatus. It worked slick. It was very great. But then I took it all down to show you how to make the Meerkat cards that we did the other day. And of course today I just did not have time to set anything up. Barely had time to get myself ready. All right, so then what you're going to do once you get to this point, let me grab my scrap paper again, you're going to take some old olive ink, and you're going to take one of those little, let me show you what it looks like on the stamp set. You're going to use this really tiny kind of texture stamp, and you're going to ink that up with old olive ink, and you're just going to go in where all these little, where the bases of the flowers are, and you're just going to stamp a bunch of greenery down here at the bottom. There you go. That's all you have to do with that. Then, because we're going to be stamping some pink behind the flowers, we're going to take a simple chamois, and I just have this one cut in half, and I store it in a half-mount wood case. I'm just going to clean this up. Ta-da! Perfectly clean. And then I'm going to grab the Blushing Bride ink. Now, you could go with Flirty Flamingo, but I found it to be a little bit brighter than what I wanted it to look like. So when I was experimenting with this card, I did try Flirty Flamingo first, but I didn't like it. It kind of overpowered the flowers a little bit. Sometimes you want that look, and other times you don't. So in this particular card, I didn't want it to be too bright. So I'm using Blushing Bride, and I'm just gonna stamp just some pretty little bits behind the flowers here. And it's okay to stamp on flowers that have not been officially colored with your blends. The blends still work great and look fine. So that is about it for that. Now what we're going to do is take our blends, and we're going to take the lightest poppy color. This is our Light Poppy Parade Stampin' Blends, and I just use the big brush end, and you're just going to color in all of these poppies. You know, maybe this won't take too long, but I'm not going to do 2 cards today. I'm just going to do this one, but I will go ahead and color all of this. And you don't have to be real perfect with it, because as you can see with the background and everything that we have here, it's kind of supposed to look a little bit more organic and free-flowing and whimsical. How's that for when you don't want to stay in the lines? Just make up a bunch of words and say that's how you want it to look. All right, you guys are so cute. So many of you are watching. Thank you. Yes, the little cutter is super cute. As a demonstrator, I was able to order it early in December. And I do believe quite a few of my downline members were able to order it early too. But now, as a demonstrator, we can't get it anymore. So the only people that can get it are new demonstrators with Stampin' Up. That is their special celebration offer. That and a whole bunch of 6x6 paper from the spring catalog that kind of would be fun to cut with it. All right, so I have the Light Poppy Parade done. Now I'm just going to take the Dark Poppy Parade, and again, just using the big brush because I don't have a lot of patience to use the little brush today. So we're just taking that big brush, and we're just kind of scribbling in a little bit of darkness into these flowers just to give them a little bit of depth. That's what a darker color does for you when you add it with a lighter color, is it adds depth and it doesn't make it look so one-dimensional. It gives it more dimension. All right, so that is done. What I'm going to do next is flip it over and add some dimensionals. This is actually a super easy card to put together. As you know, I like to do super easy cards. That's kind of my thing. Super easy cards so I can make a lot of them and send them out. All right. If I actually spent like half a day making one card, I'd never mail it out. I tell you what, I'd put it on display, and I have a few of those cards that I've done. I put them on display, and there they sit forever because they're too pretty to send to somebody. I have to keep them. All right, so here it is. Not that this isn't pretty. Don't get me wrong. I think this is pretty too. All right, so then what you're going to do, boy, is there anyone that can stick their foot faster in their mouth than Kay Kaltoff? I don't know. All right, so we're going to set this in here, and you're just going to make a little border, and there it is. So pretty. But the beautiful part is still to come. We're going to add, and I did tell my demos when they made this that they didn't have to add these poppy sequins, but they are kind of fun. So what I do to try to keep things under control is I take my little fingers, I take a pinch, and I just put a few of them into the lid. Then you want to carefully put aside the full stack somewhere where you will not tip it over, which I have done. Not today, but I have done that. So setting that way back there so I cannot possibly tip it over. And if you guys have better tips for putting sequins on, let me know. But this is how I do it. So I've got my Take Your Pick tool here. I'm flipping it around so I have the pointy piece going here. I don't know if I'm going to use that or not. Sometimes I do, but I think, yes, I do use it. So what I'm going to do is grab my mini glue dots, which are not sitting here. What the heck? What the hoo-hey, as my daughters like to say. Where in the hoo-hey did that go? So let me go find them. They must be somewhere in this room. Maybe across the room. I honestly, like, what? How can I not have glue dots on my desk? How can I consistently not have glue dots on my desk? You would think that would be a pretty standard adhesive to always have at your desk. All right, I did find them in a drawer across the room. The Stampin' Up! Glue dots are pretty nice because they're pretty little. So I just pick one off with the end of my Take Your Pick tool. Then I look at all my little sequins and I'm looking for one that's upside down. Oh, do I have one here? Not really. Oh, here's one that's upside down. So then I just throw it on top. Yay! Flip it over. And I can put it wherever I want it to go. Like maybe right there. Shows up real nice. Then I'm going to kind of flip these around because I didn't have many that were upside down. I want to use the upside down ones. Again, I take my little Take Your Pick tool, grab a little glue dot, and look for one of these that's upside down again. Oh, there's one. Carefully put it over the top. And sometimes, like, there's some little tiny sequins. Sometimes I have to squish the glue dot kind of together because this is like one of those little tiny flower sequins, and I put that there. And I'm gonna put a black one up here. So I've got an upside down black one. I just spotted it. So I'm gonna again grab and because this is one of those little flower ones, I'm gonna pre-prep this glue dot and kind of squish it together. There. I'm gonna put that right onto that black sequin, and then we'll set that one up here. Boy, that looks pretty. There, so we've got 3 sequins on. We could definitely stop here, but why stop when you're having so much fun? So I'm going to, oh, here's one that landed upside down. I'm gonna grab another one. This one's a bigger one, so I can just flop it right on there, and we'll add a gold sequin up here. Perfect. And then, you know, we don't dare stop with just 4 because we have to have an odd number, so we'll go for 5. And this one probably isn't even hardly gonna show up, but I have one right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's upside down, so I'm gonna use it. Grab my little glue dot, put it on, flip it over. We'll add that one right here. How pretty. See, and that wasn't too hard, but like I said, I'm always looking for ideas. Kathy's telling me she uses the putty end of the Take Your Pick tool to pick up the sequins. Well, then that would work, and then you could put them right onto the glue dot on your roll. Everybody likes the sequins. Lynn says it's very labor intensive. Yes, it is. And it sometimes makes me pull my hair out. All right, but I have to show you up close because it really does add a lot to the card. So if you get a card in the mail that has sequins from Kate Kultoff, you know you're special. Because really, I do kind of not use sequins that much just because it makes me crazy. However, I think we did a pretty good job today. All right, so let's see, what's the next thing we can do here? Oh, the inside panel. We can't have a card without an inside panel. Here we go. We have 4 by 5 1/4, just your standard next level down piece of paper. Flip this over. We're gonna take a 1/2 inch strip of basic black. You can see I have everything set up to do 2 cards, but I'm only doing 1. I'll do the other one later. And normally I would use glue. Today, no, we're using snail because I can't get my glue going. We're gonna set this on so that it is even with the bottom. And then of course it's hanging off, so we're gonna take the cute little cutter. There we go. And then we're going to take, well, shoot, do I have it? I do. All right, so then we have this cute little piece, because remember where this came from? That was part of this little cutout. Remember when we did that? Well, you didn't see me do it, but I did it in advance. So it matches up with this piece of designer series paper on the front. So I'm not throwing away that little scrap. We're going to use that. So I'm going to add a little snail to the back. Set this along over here. You might be wondering, well, why did I pick the right edge versus the left edge? Well, if I would have put it on the left edge, all the flowers would have been upside down. So that's why I'm putting it on the right edge. So that looks like that. Then we'll just keep the tuxedo black, keep the inking simple. We're going to, again, use a sentiment from Itty Bitty Birthdays, which I believe is in the 2019-2020 annual catalog. We'll just ink that up. And we'll set that about right here. Ta-da! Happy birthday, so fine. Then we are going to flip that over, add a little snail to the back, open that up, and set that in. And our card is complete. So this will be one of them that I mail out on Tuesday when I do the drawing. And I think the little giveaway will be a surprise. I'm not mailing sequins, sorry guys. But I will do something, some ribbon or some embellishment of some kind, or maybe some paper. I don't know yet, but it'll just be a surprise. You won't know until you get your card. So how do you get in the drawing? It's so easy. All you have to do is comment, share, let me know you've shared, and off we go. You will be automatically in the drawing. And here is the other card that I had made in advance. So you can see I used two different designer series paper here, and both cards are just stunningly gorgeous. So have a great day, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. I'm sure we'll be doing a little snow blowing around here, and I'm kind of getting ready to settle in for a fun, long weekend of crafting. You guys have a great day. I really appreciate you, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a Facebook Live on Tuesday. So stay tuned. Bye, everybody.